the Toronto Raptors just got some good news, but it has horrible implications, as there are some updates which do position the Toronto Raptors better heading into this offseason madness that's about to ensue with the draft starting tomorrow and all these Giannis rumors and reports, updates coming over the next couple of hours, which we will dive into in this video. But the Raptors did get some good news, but it does shed some unfortunate signs for the direction the Toronto Raptors are going to go. So we'll dive into what all of this means for this team, because there are some significant updates on RJ Barrett, on some of the big men the Toronto Raptors are targeting over the next few days, and why it feels like a match. It feels things have been slow. Things have been this. A couple trades happened yesterday, but there's about to be a big boom out there in the NBA. So lots of stuff to really dive into, folks. I want to thank this video sponsor, Manta Sleep, because they've been so crucial for me as a lot of this stuff has been going on. I've been busy, I've been traveling, I've been doing all these different stuff. And in order to stay prepared, I have my new sleep mask that I've been wearing out there to bed, and, sleeping, couch surfing on my friends' apartments, and it is perfect. It blocks out all of the light. It's extremely comfortable. I'm a side sleeper, so I'm able to lie on my slide, not on my regular home bed, and still get a perfect night's sleep. They will make these videos for you, adventure and bounce around on the West Coast. Appreciate it. Welcome to the West Coast, but make sure you guys use the code in the description as well as the pinned comment to get 10% off your next sleep mask. I mean, it's extremely high quality when I wear it. I can't see a single thing, even with these lights out there in my eyes. So shout out to Manta Sleep. Thank you for partnering with the channel. Thank you for sending me one of these, because honestly, this is absolutely fantastic. But let's dive into the news, because I have been adamant. I have stood on business. I do not want to see RJ Barrett traded. And I think a lot of the fan base shares this sentiment. He's a guy that in the playoffs this year was absolutely magnificent for this team. Averaged 24 points per game, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, was very efficient out there from the field, shot 39% from the three-point line. Yes, the free throws do need some improvement. We've been saying that since he's joined the Toronto Raptors, but RJ Barrett has been that guy for the Toronto Raptors. And, he's a player that candidly has been playing better than Brandon Ingram, in my opinion. And the advanced stats, they like his game. He's able to facilitate. He's getting rebounds at a high rate, and he's just continuously improving. He's a homegrown, hometown hero. RJ Barrett is not a player I want to see tossed around and thrown around the trade market, but we are getting more and more updates, and this will feed into a lot of the Myles Turner and stuff here basically at this point as news has come out. Firstly, we'll take a report from Mike Scotto. He said Toronto Raptors swingman RJ Barrett has drawn interest in multi-team trade conversations, and there are a lot of multi-team trade conversations going on across the NBA here right now. And then Michael Grange also came out and said that the single most useful trade chip for the Raptors is the expiring contract belonging to small forward RJ Barrett. Given he's eligible for a 4-year contract extension worth as much as $185 million, he may be a casualty of the Toronto Raptors cap crunch. So what's the good news here? Because it feels in my heart when I hear this, it's all bad. But the good news is there's demand for RJ Barrett, because basically this time, even at the trade deadline, there was essentially no buzz, no chatter. The Raptors were shopping RJ Barrett around, but there wasn't a ton of interest across the NBA. Whereas now, a lot of teams are interested. And of course they are. The player is fantastic. We should not... It's extremely unfortunate because we have so much money tied up, and I understand why this is happening, why some people are pushing for this, and why it might be the smart move to get rid of RJ, but he should not be the guy. It's not the smart move, but it's the only option that they have. They don't want to pay the luxury tax and stuff. He should not be the guy that you're dishing out there in these different trades. It should not be RJ Barrett. No ifs, ands, or buts. I don't want this to happen. So I'm standing on this, and why I'm even more fired up, because, again, there's a name out there that's getting tossed, a couple names get tossed out there in these trade discussions, which is a team that's going to be making a multi-team trade here now. And what Sean said is probably going to be in the next couple hours. Honestly, it might happen as I'm recording. I'm really annoyed because a Giannis trade happens, and then this video is worthless. But basically, Michael Grange came out and said that a couple of league sources have suggested that the Toronto Raptors could be interested in Bucks' Myles Turner if they go into fire sale mode after a potential Giannis Antetokounmpo trade. basically, he said that a deal built around Jakob and Gradey Dick would work financially for the rebuilding Bucks, but would doubtlessly be looking for first round picks and compensation for taking on Jakob contract. How many would would be the question. So, there's no RJ Barrett dealt in this package, but basically what we've been seeing, what the buzz has been, is across the NBA, the Bucks are also trying to flip Myles Turner in a Giannis Antetokounmpo trade, which is why a blockbuster deal is likely to turn to a 4 or 5 team framework. The ideal scenario is offloading Turner, Portis, and Kyle Kuzma simultaneously alongside Giannis. So this is the multi-team trade framework, the multi-team, every piece, every which way coming, and RJ Barrett's getting linked in a bunch of these apparently. Again, Gradey Dick, Jakob for Myles Turner, that's a deal I could probably get behind. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of Myles Turner. In a vacuum, just on the surface, when you squint your eyes, he's the perfect fit for the Toronto Raptors team. Last season, 12 points per game, 5 rebounds, which is not great, but shot 39% for 38% from behind the 3-point line, 1.6 blocks. He's definitely a good rim protector. He's definitely a great floor spacer out there for the big man spot. But the thing about Myles Turner, man, is he's just a horrible rebounder. He's just a guy that frustrates you. I'm obviously the Raptors are number one. You have your say. I really like the Pacers. I like the Pacers for a super long time. Danny Granger came to Newfoundland when I was a youngster. So, Roy Hibbert was I have a Roy Hibbert jersey when I was a kid. I love the Indiana Pacers. So I watched a lot of Myles Turner, and this guy is he's frustrating at times. He is frustrating at times when he's on your team. So I get Jakob is a worse fit, but personally, I think Jakob, when healthy, is a much better player than Myles Turner. But I understand that if healthy is a big if, it's a big concern, the contract and all this type of stuff. So I wouldn't be opposed to a Gradey Dick and Jakob trade for Myles Turner, but if we're attaching picks to this, and God forbid we are adding RJ Barrett to one of these deals, it's just not something that I'm a big fan of. It's just not something I'm super dialed in on. Take a look at the advanced stuff. The advanced metrics, hated Myles Turner last season, as you can see out there on the screen right now. So not the player that I want the Raptors to go all in on. And then again, we're getting more buzz about this. So essentially, Michael Grange also came out and spoke out on Domantas Sabonis. Similarly, league sources have connected the Raptors to Sacramento's big man Domantas Sabonis. Similar rumors were prevalent at the trade deadline, but in previous reporting, the sense was most of the discussion around what was being driven was by Sabonis' camp, who's working to get the 30-year-old 3-time All-Star out of the rebuilding situation with the Sacramento Kings. So that's what Michael Grange is saying out there with this report. And then we also have it coming from the Kings side, as the Raptors and Kings have trade discussions involving Domantas Sabonis this offseason. Sabonis was originally floated around as an option for Toronto during last year's trade deadline. So once again, the smoke regarding Domantas Sabonis is starting to pick up, and defensively, he's just not the guy. Again, it's good news that the Raptors are going after a big man, because it's an area that they need to prove. But Sabonis only played 20 games last season, 60 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, not great. And then 18% from the 3-point line, so it significantly regressed his 3-point shooting. Hopefully it bounces back if the Toronto Raptors do end up making a deal for him. But I don't know. I am not that sold on either Turner or Sabonis, especially if it requires the Toronto Raptors giving up some first-round draft pick capital. So let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comment section down below. Do you want to see RJ Barrett flip for one of these guys, flipped into Giannis trade? Shams literally report. I should have brought up the report, but they expected the next few hours that Giannis ends up getting dealt. So we'll see how it goes. I wish Newfoundland, the time zone, it's 3:30 in Newfoundland. It's 11 here in Vancouver. So I usually get these videos out earlier. So it's unfortunate that we're not getting this out earlier before Giannis trade. But let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section down below. Make sure to buy your Manta Sleep mask out there. Use the link down in the description. But I'm signing out. Cheers.